Hi. Hi and good evening. How lovely to see so many of you here already. And please do, hello from Denmark, yes. Please let me know if the sound and the internet is okay. Um, I think I might know why we had that bad weekend a couple of weekends ago. There were some solar storms emitting from the sun, clearly. And also, did you see in the news about the cosmic ray that hit Earth this week, or rather the week that's just gone, which I find super interesting and exciting. Thanks, Andy. Good sound. Excellent. We're good to go then. So as you can see, I have my sweater on tonight because it has now got a little chilly in the Mediterranean. So one is a little bit cold. But this cosmic ray, they're saying it was a mysterious cosmic ray observed in Utah, and it came from beyond our galaxy. And nothing like this has happened. It's the most powerful cosmic ray since which I haven't heard of, the oh my God particle. So cosmic rays, apparently, I've got this obviously off Mr. Google. Cosmic rays or astroparticles are high energy particles or clusters of particles that move through space at nearly the speed of light. They originate from the sun, from outside of the solar system in our own galaxy, and from distant galaxies. Well, you know what I think this is about in general, because for me, and it's good to see so many of you here, and you're saying sound, vision, etc. is a-okay, excellent. This is about Pluto's move into Aquarius, because none of us have ever experienced this. Nobody alive has experienced Pluto going into Aquarius, and I'm kind of a little bit buzzed up about it this afternoon or rather this evening, because this afternoon I pre-recorded my ultimate overview for 2024. And just let me tell you about that quickly. So there is a 45-minute overview, which will go up on my channel probably by Thursday, Friday. Then, and I thought this would be fun, randomly, all the zodiac signs will go up from the 1st of December. So one a day for 12 days, like the 12 days of Christmas, but you won't know which sign is coming up next. So Techie Jerry and I have kind of devised a system to do this. So I'm hoping this will be quite exciting. So cosmic rays, let me see what you're talking about. Hi, Geordie, good to see you. You're excited for Pluto in Aquarius too. Oh, you are so welcome. It was so lovely meeting you, Geordie. I met this lovely guy up in Scotland and we just had an awesome session. And, you know, if you do want to book a session with me, pennydix.com, that's the website. It'll be January, February now that we're looking at for one-to-ones. And just a kind of little kind of aside that the fees will be going up slightly at the beginning of January, not massively, not stupidly, but just a little bit to cover, basically to cover things like PayPal costs and all of that, and to pay for lovely Techie Jerry. But if you book before the 1st of January, it will be the existing prices. And that doesn't matter whether you book for January, February, March, April, May, it'll still be the existing price. So there we go. Hi, Shirley. Good to see you here. And yes, let's have a think. So what are your views about this cosmic ray? Because, you know, I think this is about Pluto's move into Aquarius. We're going to feel these massive energies that are going to be shifting the whole of our consciousness. So remember, Aquarius is about the collective. It's about the community at large. And Aquarius is also about technology. It's also about artificial intelligence. We have to learn to be the master of artificial intelligence so that it's not the master of us. In some ways, you could say social media is already our master, because certainly the younger generations are addicted to the various social media platforms available, TikTok, YouTube, etc., etc. I mean, I'm an oldie to be on YouTube, but oldie but goldie. So yes, Andy, good question. Which house is it moving into for you? Let me know which house Aquarius Pluto is moving into for you guys, because it is interesting. Oh, we've got some lovely people here. So lovely to see you. So I did a chart for the moment in time that this live started. And the energy on the 4 quadrants, and I can't magically put it up there because I don't know how to. But maybe once Pluto moves into Aquarius, I will have mastered such technologies. But the 4 quadrants are mutable, showing that this week has a little bit of flexibility in it. So remember, this is our look at the week ahead and how it will affect us all. Any difficult energies, any challenging energies. And we haven't mentioned tomorrow, because tomorrow, of course, we have the full moon in Gemini. So that is pretty big. But are any of you feeling this full moon energy yet? I am going to do a live tomorrow night for the full moon, because I thought it was important to actually, even though I've done my live, me, I still like to do a live for these events. So yes, Regina, Gemini full moon. And, we've got to remember at the moment, right now at this moment, the moon is in Taurus. Interestingly, for me, the moon in Taurus is conjunct my natal sun at 24, 25 degrees of Taurus. Uranus, the planet, my big boy, of surprise, the unexpected, rebellion, and freedom, is retrograde still, but is slowing down, because at the end of January, it will go direct again, which is big and important. And we need to be aware of that. I think it's interesting with this moon Uranus conjunction today that, thank God, some more hostages in Israel are being released. And let's just pray for a peaceful solution to the problems we have out there, because it's, I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. What's interesting in the event chart is that Uranus and the moon are conjunct in the 12th house. So it's about imprisonment and being trapped and confined, because that's one of the interpretations of the 12th house. Sedna is also there at the anaretic degree of Taurus. Sedna, abuse of women. I mean, I think it is just, Andy, I'm just seeing you're saying that your son has been kicking, punching, screaming out of frustration. Yes, I think it probably is the full moon. Oh, right, Penny, when you look at the moon, top right is a star. Is it Jupiter or Venus? The moon, I think it's Jupiter that is visible close to the moon. I'll have a look at one of my apps with the night sky, because Venus is actually nowhere near the moon at the moment. So Jupiter, yes, it's Jupiter. Of course it is, because Jupiter's in Taurus. So, and yet actually, if we look at the night sky, these planets are not going to be where they look like they are. There's a lovely astrologer on YouTube called Helen Ensworth, who also puts up the actual location of the planets, because it can be confusing, because this is tropical Placidus Western traditional astrology. And so we have the planets and in the signs that they're in. But if you look on one of these apps like the Sky at Night or Night Sky or whatever it's called, it'll show it in Gemini or in the sign before or in the sign after Cancer. So it can be a little bit confusing. And this is why one needs to have a really good basic understanding of astronomy and how the solar system and the galaxy works to be a good astrologer, to understand and be able to interpret the movement of the planets. And a lot of students of astrology go, oh, but I want to get straight to the good bits, you know, where I find out all about myself and find out what the future holds. And there again is a misnomer. Astrology is not about telling the future. So the thing is with astrology is the point about it is that it's like a blueprint of our birth, and it is a map. So any map shows you a certain direction you can go to get from point A to point B. It's up to you which direction you choose to take. Astrology is, in a way, very similar or the same. There are certain directions that we can go in, that we can choose to go in. That's why an awareness of what the energies are doing and what is happening in one's own natal birth chart can be so empowering, because we can see, we can think, ooh, I've got this Saturn transit that's on my moon, for example. Am I taking things too fast? Am I going to, am I overthinking things, for instance? And, you know, is my intuition a little bit off center? And so it guides us. Oh, Vicky Darling, hi. I love your surname or your pseudonym, Vicky Darling. How cool is that? Mina, you're in the Caribbean, so how fabulous is that? Yes, you're right, Annabelle. All the men trapped in that tunnel in India, they were freed in time for our freedoms to be acknowledged by the powers that be. Absolutely. And I'm just seeing what else you're saying. So I'm missing some of this. Ebenon, you're here. Beautiful moon tonight. You could almost say it's frosty here, because the weather in Gozo changes overnight. One day I'm kind of going, oh, God, so hot. And then suddenly it changes. And look at me, I'm in a sweater. And when I go to bed, I will have my electric blanket on. Now, the reason I'm talking about all of this is because what we actually have to do is get a sense of what the week ahead is about. Because the actual week ahead, I think, is about being mindful, taking things slowly. So, for instance, the freedom givers or freedom negotiators in the areas of the world like Israel and Palestine need to keep their cool. They need to go slow. Saturn is on the midheaven direct of this event chart, saying, go slow, go slow. Use your intuition. Discuss, talk. No lies, because it feels like, because Sagittarius is on the 7th house, truth is essential to get through this week in a positive way. And that goes on a personal level as well. So remember, everything I say, if I'm talking about the collective, take it down a few notches to a level that you can kind of react to as your own life. I'm just seeing, oh, the moon. Yes, I've seen it when it's like that, where it has this huge circle of light. And it is amazing, a halo. Yes, I think there's a technical term, and it's something to do with what's going on in the atmosphere. Annabelle, the King of Bahrain, has been trying to get some balance and sense into the negotiations. Yes, pray that more folk will act responsibly. Thank you, Annabelle Sapphire. Absolutely. So the other interesting thing is that Pluto, that of course is direct in Capricorn and moves into Aquarius at the end of January, but then it'll go back into Capricorn, and then finally in November next year, 2024, it will move fully into Aquarius. You got to watch my overview for 2024. I think I think I got all the key points in, though I say so myself. I think so. Anyway, and I remember I will be doing all your individual zodiac signs, but they're going to be uploaded one day at a time, quite randomly. And Sagittarius is on the descendant of this chart. This is about truth in relationships. So this goes for anything to do with the truth, a truth, truth, not lies, balance. We need, Gemini is on the ascendant. This is about communication, thought, thinking clearly, not getting carried away and rushing at anything this week. Virgo is on the icy. So this is like, pay attention to the small things. Sometimes we're so caught up with the big things in our lives that we forget to actually get on with the smaller things. And we need to keep our house in order. If we keep our house in order and subsequently our mind in order, it can make us feel an awful lot better, as if we have some kind of control over this seemingly random planet of activities that we have. So now let's look at each individual day and see what we can make of it. Because, of course, today, the 26th, the moon in Taurus is waxing gibbous, which means it is moving towards its full moon. How's today been for you? I've been quite industrious. I've just been prepping all my 2024 videos, really getting on with it. And, oh yes, I've got news to tell you. I have a new baby. I have a fur baby. I have adopted a four-legged pussycat. Well, most of them have four legs. Anyway, this is anyway, I have adopted a new pussycat. He's called Rudy Red. And his mummy could no longer keep him. Long story, she's devastated, but she can no longer keep him. He's 7 years old. He's been very traumatized by the move to my house, and he's living on and off in my guest room. Last night was the first night I actually let him have the whole place to roam around. And he did come on the bed with me a couple of times, snuggled up, and we both slept. But then my other four cats got pretty fed up. So I'm trying to keep a little bit of yin-yang balance with all of this. And whilst I'm doing this live, he's actually in the other room and I've shut the door with his supper because he hasn't learnt yet that he needs to keep quiet when I'm doing things like this, and he'll be yowling all over the place, which, as much as it's very cute, it could be a little bit distracting. So I will tea Clover at some point because I think he's going to be a cuddly poo. Like, do you remember Astropus, Stinky Minky? I think this one, Rudy Red, is actually going to be a cuddly poo. He has let me pick him up a couple of times. So I think it's just a matter of time before he auditions for the part of Astropus 2. So let's see what happens. Can natal oppositions be turned around for good? Of course they can. Anything, Nicholas, in the chart can be used and worked on in a constructive way. We have to see the challenges in our chart as opportunities for growth. That is the key. So let's see what else is happening today, because Taurus rules the neck, the vocal cords, the throat, the thyroid gland. And if you were to have surgery today, it's a kind of meh day. It doesn't mean it's very good, which doesn't mean it's very bad, but it's not a yes and it's not a no. It's an okay. It's just an okay. So most people aren't going to have surgery on a Sunday unless it's an emergency. So don't worry too much about that. Oh, Maggie, you've got a new kitten. Oh, how lovely. Oh, how sweet. Oh, you must send pictures, put pictures on one of the comments. Oh, Vicky, you had surgery on Monday. Oh my goodness, I hope you're all right. I can't remember what last week was, but tomorrow, Monday the 27th, the moon, of course, will be in Gemini and it will be full. Now, Gemini rules the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the bronchial tubes, and the lungs. Surgery tomorrow? Absolutely no. And what I'm noticing as I'm doing this week by week is that when we have a full moon, it's not a good time to have surgery. So we just have to be mindful of that. But then by the time, also tomorrow, because I'm going to do my full moon live, so you've got me 2 nights running. Mercury in Sagittarius tomorrow, our planet of communication, Mercury, in the sign of truth, squares Neptune. This is a full moon where we can see through lies. We have a lovely English expression called porky pies, which are lies, little white lies, porky pies. So there's something about this energy tomorrow which is deceptive. Gemini, remember, is an air sign. It's about thought. It's about communication. It's about the written word. Be careful with this full moon that you don't end something that you've not thought through properly. Because I think there's something about that Mercury in Sagittarius that is going to speed up your vocalization, your comments. So slow down. Think of that Saturn that I talked about on the midheaven of the chart, saying, cool it, slow down. Then we move, because I'm not going to spend too much on the full moon because I'm going to do that tomorrow. Then on Tuesday, the moon, of course, will still be in Gemini, waning gibbous. Surgery? Yes. And nothing else is happening on Tuesday except the moon's in Gemini. So we will still be thinking, having a lot of thoughts about stuff. It might be good for creativity, for writing, for waxing lyrical, for communication with friends. So nice energy on Tuesday. By Wednesday, the moon has moved into Cancer, and it'll still be waning gibbous. Now, Cancer, of course, rules the stomach, the mucosa, which is really the sinuses and the sort of mucus, the breast, the womb, and the ovary. It's also a good day to have surgery, as was Tuesday, if I didn't say it. Tuesday as well is a good day to have surgery. Venus, our planet of relationship, love, and self-worth, is in Libra, the sign it rules. So this brings some balance and harmony into your relationships. And Venus is in opposition to the North Node in Aries, which I find quite interesting because the North Node is about our kind of karmic destiny. What might be going on for you on Wednesday that needs to be resolved in a relationship? Something to do with a karmic relationship, a relationship that has kind of definite kind of past life links to it that you kind of feel. You know, it's really interesting. I met someone last week. Actually, he was one of the consultants doing my spinal injections. And he said to me, "Have we met before?" And I said, "I don't think so." I said, "But you look awfully familiar." And we kept talking about this and talking about my back and talking about my spine. And yet at the end of it, we still said, "I'm sure we've met." And I think it was a past life connection. And that's all I'm saying on that matter. And then also with this energy of Venus in Libra, remember, with the moon in Cancer, sometimes we can feel a little bit introvert. So don't be shy to come out and say to a loved one how you really feel, how you really value them. I think that's also very important with this kind of energy. And let's move on to Thursday, because on Thursday, the moon is still in Cancer. So you can see how this whole week we're going to be feeling quite introvert, quite introspective, perhaps wanting a little bit of alone time, perhaps wanting some family time, perhaps wanting to connect with family and have some of those real good catch-up sessions with perhaps family who are at a distance. And the moon in Cancer on Thursday will be waning gibbous, and surgery still is okay. So, you know, that's how Thursday is. So very gentle energy this week. Make the most of it. Sometimes we have such challenging energies that when we get a week like this, it's really important to kind of sit back and smell the flowers, to just kind of think, well, wow. You know, when I was saying about last week, I think the heart being our soul, you know, Leo rules the heart. And of course, you know, the moon is going to move into Leo on Saturday. I mean, I'm going to do Friday first, but the heart, we have to be aware of how valuable our heart is. Love it. And just be grateful to it for doing the job it's doing, for knowing what to do. It knows how to run our bloodstream, our body, our circulation. How cool is that? And this is like the sun. The sun, the center of our solar system. Our sun knows how to run the circulation of our particular tiny little solar system, our small part of a much bigger galaxy that is part of an enormous Milky Way, huge galaxy with that galactic center. And I just want to have a look at that chart again to see, yes, this is interesting. This chart, remember, for the moment in time when we started tonight, the relationship house, the 7th house, is pointing towards the galactic center. Karmic relationships unfold this week, or you meet someone that, like I met this person, that we just felt we must know each other. It doesn't necessarily mean that you ever see them again. And I think this is where we sometimes get caught up and lost with this kind of energy. It's like when we talk about soulmates. We think, well, he's my soulmate. I have to marry him and live happily ever after, or her, or they, or who. No. Sometimes it's just the recognition that we have this shared soul group. And that is just as important. So the 7th house cusp in Sagittarius points towards the galactic center. That is this magnetic gravitational force swirling round a kind of quantum soup of creativity. How exciting is that? And now we've got these cosmic rays that they can see bombarding us. And I'm sure there's not just one. So, hi, Laurie. Good to see you here. So let's just come back because I was talking about Friday. Friday, the moon is in Cancer, then it moves in to Leo later in the day, and it'll be waning gibbous. So remember, after the full moon, we start to wane because we have this permanent cycle of 28 days, like menstruation, that we go through. Surgery is still okay. And yes, on Friday, the 1st of December, when, yes, I will be doing yet another live for an overview of the month of December. And remember, on Friday, the first video will come out for one of the signs for the year ahead. But I don't know which one. I'm leaving it up to Techie Jerry. And then also on Friday, Mercury, our planet of communication, enters Capricorn. And later in December, Mercury actually goes retrograde. So just a quick heads up about that. But I will talk about that on Friday. Recently you had surgery, Regina, and these are your notes. The moon should be waning and not full. That's right. Yes, because it's getting rid of. Because waning is to reduce. Waxing is bringing in. Waning is reducing. So, for instance, you wanted to start a healthy eating plan. Then after a full moon or on a full moon would be a great time to start, because you are working with the energy of the full moon that you want to shed some extra pounds. So there we go. So I'm now getting very hot with my sweater on, which now I don't need. And so my glasses are steaming up, but I think I can just about manage. So as I said, Mercury, the planet of communication, enters Capricorn. And we know now that we're heading towards Christmas. And I will let you know how December is going to look on Friday. Saturday, the moon will be fully in Leo, waning gibbous. And remember, Leo rules the heart. because it's ruled by the sun. And that's why I see the sun as the heart of our solar system. It also rules the aorta, our blood pressure, and circulation. And yes, when the moon is waning, you can have surgery. So you can see this is, on the whole, a fairly laid back week. Apart from our full moon tomorrow, which kind of sets the tone. And, you know, a lot of us might find tonight our sleep isn't great. We have interesting dreams sometimes. And because it's Gemini, we might find we wake up at 3 in the morning and do a lot of overthinking. And I noticed that some of the galactic astrologers have been talking about surges of light that have been coming in to our particular solar system. So we have to be mindful of all these energies that are building up, because this will be, I'm absolutely certain, part of what we're going to experience when Pluto moves into Aquarius. I'm super excited about it. I'm just so grateful that I'm around to see, hopefully, most of the time that Pluto moves through Aquarius. So let's have a look. Yes, it is nice, Laurie, to have a smooth ride for the week. Regina, yes, you too, absolutely. You too, Andy. And, you know, it's just going to be, well, this is a week also to start thinking about what you want to manifest. Because Neptune in Pisces, still retrograde, is in the 10th house. So it's a bit like, have some quiet moments. Think about what you want to manifest for 2024, what you want to invite in. And remember, we should always make these things realistic. We have to look, it doesn't mean that we can't achieve our wildest dreams, but we also have to look at what our physicality can cope with. As I've learned that lesson, as you know, very recently, with having to cut back on the amount of content I'm putting out on my YouTube channel because I burnt myself out. And as you know, I'm spreading clients out to a much more reduced level of seeing you all in a week. And that's just going to be better for you and better for me. So, yeah, Lady Anne, you never sleep at the full moon. This is freedom's coming, Laurie. I love that. Andy, 2024, joy, peace, freedom, love, abundance. Yeah, and common sense for all. Hear to that. Oh my God, do we need common sense? And also we need to get balance. Balance between the yin and the yang and the masculine and the feminine. And in my overview for 2024, which should be out Thursday or Friday, Thursday, I think, I talk about the fact that, you know, we have the divine feminine, but we don't talk about the divine masculine. We tend to, as the feminine, be a little bit down and critical of the masculine. Maybe on one level, one primitive level, there is justification in that. But we bring up our sons. So if we don't like the way men behave or men's attitudes, we have to look at how we bring up our little boys. Just saying. And so there has to be more, I think, move towards recognizing the divine masculine as part of the yin yang of the cosmos, divine feminine and divine masculine. Also, I think next year, and this has just come to me, and I didn't say it in the overview, I think that the Chinese Year of the Dragon is going to be very symbolic for next year, because for me, because the nodes of the moon, which we talk about in terms of the North Node and the South Node, the North Node being your karmic destiny, the South Node being where we come from, are known as the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. So I actually also think there is something about karmic destiny next year. And that'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. So I'm just going to have a look at some of your chat, but as usual, you're all talking about, or whatever you're talking about, because I'm not going to make this too long, because I know our attention span is not great. And my overview for 2024 is about 45, 50 minutes. I thought, well done, Penny. You kept it under an hour. And the individual zodiac signs, I reckon, are going to be about 25, 30 minutes probably. So I'm really looking forward to doing them and recording them. And I'm starting this week, so that'll be exciting. So karmic credits due next year to be paid. Yes, well, I really wish that for you, Vicky, darling. So listen, all of you, you are, as always, awesome, friggin' awesome. And Lady Virgo, you've got a very Gemini scattered brain today, and you've got important paperwork to get turned in. Listen, work with that moon in Gemini. The full moon will help you finish it, because it's a full moon. It's about bringing things to a conclusion. So don't worry about it. So, oh, Regina, bless you. I love you too. I love all of you. So listen, guys, I'm going to leave you now. And thank you so much, as usual, for tuning in. I really do appreciate. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, all those crazy things. I'm going to hopefully get to the point where you will be able to meet the new Astropus Mark II. His name is Rudy Red, or Red Rudy. I don't know. Is that a good word? Well, his real mummy, or his old mummy, called him Red, and I just like Rudy, so I thought Rudy Red, or Red Rudy. So anyway, that's what he is. So Rudy Red, yes, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's Christmas, something like that. Rudy Red, great name. Thank you, Andy. I love it. So listen, guys, I'm going to try and sign off before we get to 45 minutes. And once again, thank you for joining me. I really look forward to seeing you. This is where you get that inane grin from me as I press end stream. And then I sit there and think, oh no, I have to also press another end. So let's see. Oh, you've got messy divorce happening. Oh, Lady Virgo, I really feel for you. Listen, I'm sending you loads of love and loads of Gemini clear thought. So, Joyce, karmic destiny, pray for all the best. And let's just one final little prayer for all the hostages that are still being held all over the world, wherever they are. Anyone who's trapped in an awful situation, and people who are grieving for loss, trauma. Let's just keep them in our thoughts and be mindful of them with this Gemini full moon over the next couple of days. So bless you all. Love you loads. Mwah. Speak soon. Bye for now.